The same federal judge of Mexican heritage that candidate Trump said in 2016 was biased against him just gave President Trump a huge win on the border wall. U.S. District Court Judge Gonzalo Curiel ruled that the Trump administration can proceed with plans to build a border wall regardless of environmental objections. I also want to get into today's Supreme Court immigration ruling with our next guest, Univision and Fusion anchor Jorge Ramos. He's the author of a new book I just started, Stranger, the Challenge of a Latino Immigrant in the Trump Era. Jorge, great to see you. How are you?
Thanks so much for inviting me.
All right, congrats on the book. So what is your
you.
take on the Supreme Court ruling that came down today? First of all, the one that says that the border wall can go forward without concern about the environmental objections. There was a lawsuit followed.
Yeah, I think the first thought is that President Trump is going to have to think about, again, the racist comments that he made about Judge Gonzalo Curiel, because he's exactly the same judge that now sided with his government. So that racist remark that President Trump made,
which part of it was? Yeah, by the way, I wouldn't have. I don't like to comment on judges when you're before the judge on an issue or when you're a chief executive. I wouldn't necessarily have done that. But what part of that remark was racist? Because he said he didn't think someone of Mexican heritage could rule on immigration-related matters because of the dual loyalty? That's precisely the definition of racism, when you think that someone cannot do his job simply because of his heritage. And President Trump thought that because Judge Gonzalo Curiel is from Mexican heritage, that he couldn't do his job on dealing with Trump University. So that's a racist statement, the same way as it was a racist statement to say that Mexican immigrants were rapists, and the same way as it is a racist statement to say that people from Haiti and African nations are from S-hole countries. Those are racist statements made by President Trump. You know, we know that President Obama has used derogatory language about other countries. We know that others have done the same thing, including Democrats and Republicans.
Of the United States,
they've all
that's
done
completely different.
Yeah, well, but on the issue of racism, particularly, you make some really kind of wild charges in your book that we're going to get into in just a moment.
Sure.
But there was another case that came down on the court today. It was a 5-3 ruling that said the U.S. government can indefinitely detain individuals who are found at the border or even green card holders who they have a reason to question their legal status. That was a 5-3 ruling. Your reaction to that?
Well, it's not easy to be an immigrant nowadays in the United States. Many people, many immigrants feel that they
illegal immigrant, Jorge. You mean illegal immigrant? You always do this, and it drives people nuts.
No,
illegal immigrant.
First of all, I don't call them illegal immigrants because no one is illegal in this world.
What do they call them in Mexico?
They're simply undocumented immigrants. And the fact is that it is increasingly difficult to be an immigrant in this country. Donald Trump has made this a hostile, dangerous nation for many immigrants, undocumented and documented.
Latino unemployment is at a record low. It was 4.8% last month. That was the record low. Now it's 4.9%. That's not a good statistic for you? What do you want it at 2%? That would be nice. I'll take that too.
I think that's positive when it comes to economics. But how about if you're a family whose father or mother has been deported? How about if you're one of the people that the Trump government has arrested? The arrests in the Trump first year are 30% higher than in the last year of Barack Obama. So, okay, sure, unemployment is better for Latinos. However, Donald Trump has been arrested many more people than Barack Obama did.
Okay, Jorge, let's cut through all this. Let's get a simple. Let's get an answer to it.
That's good news.
I'm a simple person at the bottom of all this. So my question to you is, do you believe in nationhood?
Absolutely.
Do you believe in nations?
Absolutely, and I believe that every single country has the right to protect its border. I do believe.
Do they have the right? Do countries have the right to determine who comes into the country and who must leave their country? Do they have that sovereign right?
I do believe that, but I also believe, Laura, that we are partly responsible for the 11 million undocumented immigrants who are in this country, simply because we benefit from their work every single day, from the food that we ate, to the homes that they're building, to the children that they take care of. Undocumented immigrants, they pay taxes. They create
not
jobs.
All,
and
mostly, Jorge, I've seen people get cash under the table. Not all of them pay taxes. I'm so sick of hearing that either.
Most of them, as
every illegal immigrant rescues a cat from the tree. I mean, there was also a DACA recipient just last week who was arrested, you probably read it, for making threats against a school. So every time we hear DACA, 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 everyone's supposed to think, oh, these are all future valedictorians. Maybe some of them will be.
The vast majority.
But we have a right, as Abigail Hernandez, and she was arrested. She's in federal detention right now up in Yonkers, New York, arrested for making a threat against a school she didn't attend, by the way. For every time you say that it's bad for immigrants in the United States, why do so many people want to come to this country if this is a country that is not welcoming to legal immigrants, people who have the faith in the system and follow the law, not for those who break the law and then expect special benefits on the other side?
Why
do they all want to come here,
all
Jorge?
DACA recipients? Are you criminalizing 2 million
That's the game you're playing, and no one buys it.
Because one person, it would be the same way as if I say that all non-Hispanic whites are like Stephen Paddock, the man who killed 58 people in Vegas.
No,
or that all non-Hispanic whites are responsible for what Adam Lanza did in Sandy Hook. It's exactly the same comparison. You cannot criminalize all the dreamers.
They're already here unlawfully. No. They're already here unlawfully. We don't have to criminalize them. They're here unlawfully.
Then don't. So
they're
don't say
here
that simply
unlawfully.
because of one case, all the dreamers are like that. They are not.
Jorge, in the end, this country is the greatest country in my view. I know you're both a citizen of Mexico. You vote in Mexico, correct?
I vote in Mexico and I vote in the United States.
Are you going to vote for Peña Nieto or no? Done with him.
I think Peña Nieto is one of the worst presidents that Mexico has ever had.
And, why don't you run? We need you to run. That'd be fun. I'll come down and interview down there.
I'm part of the United States, and I intend to stay here. But I think, honestly, I think President Peña Nieto has been one of the worst presidents that Mexico has had. He didn't even have the courage to tell President Trump in his face that Mexico was not going to pay for the wall.
Do you think in the end Mexico will forge a strong relationship with China instead of renegotiating NAFTA, and that's going to be a good thing for Mexico, communist China?
I don't know if it's going to be a good thing for Mexico. I think a good thing for Mexico would be a strong relationship with the United States. But if you have the president of the United States who wants Mexico to pay for the wall, and Trump has to tell the truth to everyone, Mexico won't pay for that wall.
I think Mexico might pay some of it indirectly. Indirectly, Jorge, we're out of time.
I don't see that. I don't see how Mexico is going to pay for that.
It might be a new trade agreement. We might have a whole new business arrangement with Mexico that will be great for Mexico and good for the United States. But I love having you on. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your book, Stranger.
Thank you.
Love having you on. Thanks so much.